Welcome to Manna at the Tap, a podcast of Tapestry Ministries. Each episode reflects on a daily Bible reading from the Common Lectionary. I am Gloria, a fellow traveler on a spiritual journey with the Tapestry community, and we call the daily Bible reading our spiritual manna. This daily manna nourishes our souls and fosters spiritual growth as we share insights and interpretations that enrich our spiritual lives. The lectionary reading for Friday, February the 28th, 2025, is from the book of Acts, right after the four Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. This book comprises a series of vignettes detailing how a group of Jewish followers of Jesus shared stories about him during the first decades following his death, resurrection, and ascension. The author is the Gentile physician Dr. Luke, who also penned the Gospel of Luke. The followers of Jesus faced persecution in Jerusalem due to their dedication to him and were threatened with imprisonment. Many chose to leave Jerusalem to settle in the surrounding areas, seeking to escape the conflict. The lectionary reading is Acts chapter 10, specifically the first 8 verses. It tells the story of Cornelius, who had limited knowledge of Jesus' impact on people's lives. He did learn that Peter, the prominent leader of the followers of Jesus, was staying in Joppa, not far from Caesarea. Cornelius was a Gentile, a Roman centurion stationed in Caesarea, the center of Roman power and authority. This town was named after the Roman emperor Caesar Augustus. Jews tried their best to have limited interaction with Gentiles and, of course, with the Romans, who they called by the derogatory label of pigs, because Jews considered pigs to be unclean animals. In this first vignette, Luke portrays Cornelius's life that even though he was a Gentile, he was a devout and God-fearing person, as was everyone else in his household. He even supported the cause of the Jewish underprivileged financially, and he prayed to God regularly. Cornelius yearned to learn more about Jesus. Let's call him a wannabe Jew in disguise. However, he felt afraid and uncertain about how to pursue this desire. He was keenly aware of how Jews viewed Gentiles. Can you imagine the dilemma he faced? One afternoon, around 3 o'clock, as Cornelius was praying, he saw an angel who spoke to him. And the angel informed him that God had heard his prayers and God had acknowledged his charity towards the Jewish people. The angel then instructed him to send some men to the nearby town of Joppa, visit the house of a man there named Simon, who was a tanner, and he lived by the sea. They were to ask for a man in that house whose name was Simon Peter, who was staying there. What an encounter! Cornelius needed to assess the situation. Here, he is a centurion in the Roman army and a secret aspiring Jew who prays to God and contributes financially to the Jewish cause. The Jews resent the Romans for invading their land and oppressing them with heavy taxes. In fact, the Jewish people wanted to be rid of the Romans. Now Cornelius, a Gentile from Rome, has received divine instructions to summon Simon Peter, the leader of the followers of Jesus, who is visiting some of the persecuted followers residing in Joppa. Cornelius followed the divine instructions he received. After explaining everything, he sent 2 household servants and a devout soldier to accompany them on the 35-mile journey to Simon the tanner's house. This will signify a turning point in the story of Simon Peter, the leader of the followers of Jesus. In a vision, he also will be directed to accompany these men back to Cornelius's home. And when Simon Peter visited Cornelius's home and they had a conversation, they both realized that the message of God's good news is accessible to everyone, irrespective of cultural differences and the political climate in which they reside. Simon Peter and Cornelius discovered that prejudice divides us, nurturing self-righteousness and judgmental attitudes. However, the good news of the gospel connects us with God, allowing everyone to become followers of Jesus.